gentlemen, to the ROCCAT Legacy of the Void Championship here at DreamHack Winter. We are in the wonderful city of Jönköping. I'm joined by Snoot, DeMuslim, and Apollo. We just saw Huck take 2-0. Very heavy trash talk coming out of him.
Yeah, good start to Group A for him. Also, Parting and Bly were the other two players to get victories to start up Group A, which, you know, for me, I know you guys said Showtime, but I think these three are going to be the ones to advance from there. And right now, after game one of many games to come, it's shaping up as I think.
Snoot, explain why
What
he's
are you
wrong.
giggling? What are you giggling at? Why?
Shut this boy down,
Shut
Snoot.
me up.
No, it makes sense. I agree.
Okay,
I agree with
Okay,
everything.
well,
All right, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
you're going to disagree at all, Ben?
I'm just laughing at Sean's English as he thinks, as he thought, you know.
Well, I'm glad we're all on the same page here, because our
But
next...
we do have expectations for Showtime. I have expectations for Showtime, and I want him to do well
If he
because he's
doesn't get out
practicing
this
very hard.
group, if he doesn't get out this group,
I'm gonna be disappointed.
you are the player of Artosis predictions.
Ah,
I can't see him not, though. He is
Who's-
really
which-
good right
it's
now.
so
Which
weird.
one of the
Yeah,
players
it's-
is he taking a slot away from? Huck, Potting, or Bly? And don't you dare say Bly.
I mean, Hook looked really good that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Initially, I would have said Hook, but... I mean, Hook looked very good against the aggression of sort of, so I think he's got a pretty decent chance against Bly as well.
Well, how the hell is Showtime getting out?
Let's stir up some drama. Okay.
PvP, man.
Boom.
We can
So he's
say
gonna take
Parting, Bly, and Showtime.
Showtime has like
Europe.
70% win.
Huck? Europe.
Or like,
Europe.
Showtime's PvP is like 90% plus on ladder right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's insanely
okay,
good, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, what did you think of Huck's interview?
Very cool.
Being a very, you know, calm, polite,
Very polite, you know.
very polite Zerg.
mannered.
What
young
did you
man.
think about the North American
it's
interview
it's
by the
great to
pros?
see. Like,
Yeah?
I think we need more of this in the StarCraft scene. I absolutely agree with that. And
Yeah.
as long as you keep winning, it's fine.
Yeah, because then you get hated.
Keep winning.
Yeah, so hopefully...
Like, if you gotta do this, keep winning. If
Hopefully
you don't, it's gonna look
he
bad.
continues to tear through the tournament, and we can see a bit of that. Our next matchup is, I think a lot of people are going to agree, probably looking a bit one-sided. We have Semper, the American Terran from Canada, North American Terran,
Yeah.
going up against Solar, who is, most people agree, pretty much the best. He won the StarCraft tournament that just happened in Legacy of the Void. He won 2 DreamHacks, but we're actually already ready to get into the game. So I'll just throw it to you guys, and you guys can just bring us this great series. Paul and DeMuslim, take it away.
Nate, you are the best. All right, we're ready to continue on with the series so far. Number 2 of the day of 10 in total. Lots of games to be bringing to you. And you get to cast a Terran.
I do get to cast a Terran. Actually, even though he's not that well known, this guy knocked Hook out in the American qualifier to get here. So still a pretty decent Terran. I don't know much about the player, but he looked pretty sharp, and he was using Liberators to their fullest. He made Hook whine on Twitter quite a bit about them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watch this guy. But he's against Solar, man. Solar is currently the absolute best player in Legacy of the Void right now.
Yeah,
hands
the
down.
tournament favorite. Hey, DeMuslim, you know what?
Hey, Apollo.
Because, you know, traditionally I would be like, okay, let me introduce the 2 players, but you do it. Introduce them the best you can.
You know what? I'm going to do it. So, spawning in the top left of this map that I do not know, it is Solar.
It says the name of the map just on the left there. It's Prime Terraces.
It's really small and it's very far away.
All right, do another one. You were really good. Wait, though. That's Solar, if you didn't know. Ready? Hold on. Do it. Go.
And spawning over in the southeast, as our blue Terran, it is Semper.
That was good.
I feel all right about it, you know? Like, I'm not QXC level of player to caster level, but oh, and there he is.
There
what a fresh
he
face on the
is.
scene.
Repping Canada and North America along with Huck. So far, by the way, we haven't seen the groups, but the groups, in Group B at least, Lambo currently in first, equal with Solar and a Laser, who all won their first game. On the second bottom side, it is Avocado, Reina, and Semper. Solar beat Reina 2-0. Lambo just beat Semper 2-0, and a Laser beat Avocado. So a big match here for Semper in a group where you need to be top 3 to go through. Losing 2 of the opening games.
I mean, when Solar is one of your 2 opening games, that kind of sucks when you have a almost death loss, you know? Even though I say this stuff, but this is Legacy of the Void,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of new cheese available for absolutely every race. So And in fact, maybe we're counting him out. Maybe we're just being too rude here. Like,
yeah.
I legitimately saw this guy play very good macro games in the American qualifier, so I don't really want to count him out, despite it being Solar here.
All right, well, we'll see if it can happen. It would be pretty sick. By the way, Semper's build didn't go for an initial Reaper. He went straight for the Reactor and then went for 2.
I like this build, Sean. This is a build that I do on my stream all the time.
Do you?
I get up to 4 Reapers and do quite a bit of damage. Like, Reapers, compared to Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty, they've changed so much over the years. Like, they developed the regeneration upon out of combat. They stopped having the grenades against buildings.
Yeah.
Now they have grenades that you can randomly use on the floor and such. So getting out a good 4 of them, I imagine he's going to go up to at least 4. You can take out Zergling packs. You can stop Roach rushes from happening.
But Zergling speed is not that far away.
It's not that far away, but if you have 4 Reapers and you have a clump of Zerglings, microing Zerglings against Reapers is exceedingly hard. The way that you right-click to move them, they always move in a cluster, and just landing 2 or 3 of those bombs out of those 4, those are some dead Zerglings you're looking at.
All right, well, there's already like 6 Zerglings out, and there's about to be another 6, so he's got to be careful not to full out lose the Reapers, but we'll see. First 2 have taken a little bit of damage. In the background, there has been 2 additional barracks. We'll talk about that in a minute, but for now, here comes the Reapers.
We're going up to 6 Reapers as well, Sean.
Whoa, 6!
And also, 2 barracks being made before the 3rd CC.
Oh, I love it.
That's some aggression from our dear American Terran over here.
Oh, I love it. I do. I know who else loves it is, Pig. And
Pig.
Nate was already laughing before he even went there. But the gold base has been taken for Solar as his 3rd. He's chasing down these Reapers. But he's about to walk into the other guys.
This is quite a lot of info, though, seeing at least 4 Reapers, and that's a hell of a lot of gas on those Reapers. But these are always going to be handy if you micro them well with your army.
But this is such an aggressive build coming out from Semper. 3 barracks, then the factory. Solar doesn't know exactly what he's up against, but he's got the tools necessary to make a defense. He just has to kind of see what's happening here.
The worker count's actually pretty darn decent for Semper. If you class each orbital command as like having a good 4 or so workers extra.
Yeah.
So technically his economy is equally as good, if not better than Solar's right now.
Yeah.
Up until the gold goes up and Solar's droning like a madman. So what Solar needs to really address right here is there a 3rd on the way, which there isn't, so he needs to find that out very shortly.
And he can't right now. He's trying to poke forward with Zerglings at the front, gets no information. His Overlord's being blocked by Marines on the other side too, so pretty good start here for Semper if he can make this work. And still 6 Reapers, which have so much that they can provide in this game.
Certainly, and if these guys get into the base as well, the main base especially, that's a lot of damage being done. Even transferring drones.
Well, a lot of links
here. That is a lot of links, but
careful.
How do they fight against these Reapers off creep, especially when they're very close to a cliff? It's difficult.
Semper can't. If he loses all these Reapers, then, well, okay, he's in big trouble, but they're still alive for now.
And there's still no 3rd CC on the way?
Yeah.
Is this what we're seeing? Okay, this is an incredible kind of all-in-y kind of build.
Oh, 2 creep tumors get taken out. It's always nice.
And also, what I really like about Semper's play here, he's getting +1 very quickly, and he's ignoring the +1 armor entirely. And one good thing about Legacy of the Void compared to Heart of the Swarm, Marauders, upon getting a weapon upgrade, they have the 2 attacks. So against Zerglings, rather than it just being 1 upgrade for 11 damage per hit, it's actually 12 per hit, meaning it only takes 3 hits to kill Zerglings. So him getting prepared for this kind of timing attack with the 6 Reapers with the bombs available, this is actually going to deal quite a lot of damage if he micros it correctly.
Oh, yeah. I think so too. +1/1 coming out for the Roaches. And this is a style which Solar won the Shoutcraft, wasn't it? I think it was the Shoutcraft.
He won everything, man.
And a typical style, obviously playing Roach Ravager and very successful with it. But this is super interesting. The army that we've seen built up by Semper is pretty large already. And imagine if Semper is able to strike and pierce Solar before he's ready with a high amount of units and upgrades. It could lead to a victory here. So a big moment here.
A big moment.
Here we go. The first 2 medevacs are on their way.
Have they been spotted at all? Doesn't look like the army's moving anywhere around for Solar, but he's got it in a nice location between all his bases, really.
The Roach and Ravager army is starting to really increase, though. I mean, he's been on beat with his injects. He's been on beat with his Overlord production.
I don't really see a drop really accumulating much damage here. I'd like to see everything in one big blast together, especially with the 6 Reapers that you have to kind of set the Zerglings away, maybe stop the Roaches from doing as much damage. But this, as long as he doesn't lose anything here, this is a decent drop.
Lost a couple of Marines, but he does take down the Queen on that base. He's got his Reapers on this third.
Oh, and that's a lot of bomb damage going down, a lot of red drones
Yeah.
available. Nice multitasking by both of them, keeping these medevacs alive too.
Yeah, great job there so far by Semper. He's making this work. He's hurting Solar a lot, but he needs to keep this up if he's going to be wanting to take a game away from the potential tournament champion. But another stim through. Here come the Reapers in the main. They're going to do a lot.
Oh, let's see how much these bombs do. He needs to get them down quickly, though, and kind of bops one of his own Reapers there. Oh, lots of units flying all over the shop. One of the worrisome things here for Semper is, though, he no longer has that upgrade lead, and in fact, he has an upgrade deficit here, so... Oh.
He might overall, well, he doesn't have an army size lead either, but it is building up slowly but surely back at home, and he's keeping up this pressure and this harassment. He found himself this 4th base. He's going to try and take it down here, and he's going to stim and does force a cancel.
You know what? He's actually dealing quite a bit of damage here. A solo Liberator, I like this. This forces a reaction. If you can use this in sync with doing something elsewhere, this could definitely deal damage. But when you're trying to rely on this against a player of Solar's caliber, it's always a risk. Oh, he does actually have a 3rd up. He's going to play the macro game.
And here comes the Liberator. I like to call it's Defender mode. I like to call it Liberation mode, personally. But Defender mode is good enough. And he does get a bit of damage done to that main base. So harassment still continue on.
Denying the 4 continuously.
Keeping Solar down.
Like, you know, we did cut, and he's actually ahead of Workers at this point in the game too. And his defense, he's got a few siege tanks together. And yes, Corrosive Bile can take them out, but in fact, if he gets those siege tanks in the natural in a better position, which, yeah, he will, Semper's looking pretty decent here.
He's got to hold on versus this attack. It's the main purpose and main goal of this at the moment. A couple of Corrosive Biles are going to be launched in a second. That's a lot of Ravagers.
That's a lot of Ravagers marching in, but those tanks...
Yeah, 4 tanks dealing out a lot of damage here. 1 or 2 of them are going to get taken down on the ramp just above the Medivacs and the other 2. But look how many Ravagers there are. He's ravaging everything to Muslim.
He's ravaging absolutely everything. Semper is trying to keep these tanks alive, which he is close to, but man, that was too big of an attack by Solar.
And there's a lot more units on the way as well for Solar, who feels the win and takes game number 1 there. Congratulations to Solar.
That seemed to spiral out of control.
I love that.
Ever so quickly.
Yeah. And that could, if he'd held that, been in a winning position for him. But was it the bunkers and the defense not there in time, Mr. DeMuslim?
Tanks, while they are insanely good, given the siege tank nerf in medevacs, they're less effective than they used to be. And like by the time his tank lands, if you keep on just chasing it with at least 1 bile all the time, those tanks aren't really going to see much damage done.
Yeah.
And yeah, you obviously need bunkers, but everything that we're listing here, they're all countered by Ravagers, bunkers, tanks.
That's true, yeah.
It's really hard. One of the best ways that I've felt to defend against this kind of stuff, medevac drops consistently, but then just also constant Widowmine production, just like defensive. So you go Pulse style with 2 groups, and you try and keep the Zerg away from you, because if he does come, if he chooses to attack you, you're dead. So you just have to keep on buying time.
Okay. How would you rate Semper overall then, with his approach to playing against Solar, the execution of it? Unfortunately, the win wasn't there, but
we have to like talk about this. He's against the best player in Legacy of the Void right now.
Yeah.
And he didn't look as if he was totally outclassed, He didn't. He actually looked like he was playing very well. So I'm actually quite impressed with him. And even though, again,
Terran inside.
I felt he played
admiration.
Yeah, he did a strange build, and he got ahead in Workers at some points in the game. He had a decent defense made up, but just a few little things missing. And we do talk about how strong Zerg is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked his play.
What was it that was? I mean, Solar just did everything right.
Solar definitely reacted well. Even the single Liberator, you saw him move away straight away. He got Ravagers out at the right time. The map also having a 3rd and a 4th that are golds.
Yeah.
I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
I think relying on a strategy like Semper's, where you have to deal damage on a map where you have a gold base to kind of rectify very quickly.
I love that word.
Me too. I feel it would be better on a more normal map. Like if you're getting a worker lead on a map with a gold base, it doesn't really matter that much.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe I need to take some of these tips away with me.
I don't know, man. I haven't been doing well for a while now, Maybe I'm talking out my arse.
We'll never know. The game is ready. We're going to be going into map number 2 between Solar and Semper. as one of these two players, either Solo's going to get a 2-0 or Semper can get a 1-1 perhaps. We'll find out. Here is, of course, Solar spawning in as the red Zerg player.
You're going to do the intros this time, Sean?
Well, I've done one, but I thought you did such a good job, you should do this one too.
That was an intro? Oh, and here, spawning in the top right as our blue Tyrant, it is Semper.
That's how bad I've been doing. You can't even tell if my intros are real or not.
I'm sorry, Sean. Maybe it's
okay.
just so fluid that, you know, it just kind of breezes over me, you know?
No problem.
Just so natural. But yeah, after that first game, he can't be too flustered. This is, after all, one of the better players in the group. It's one of the matches that, if you're looking at your whole group of who I need to beat to qualify, this isn't one of those matches where it's like, okay, I need to beat this guy, otherwise I'm totally out.
Yeah.
No, this is the guy that you're like, okay, if I'm going to lose to anybody, it's probably this guy. So I'll go into this, I'll give it my all, I'll actually see how good I am at this game.
Yeah.
And if I even do remotely well against this player, I'm quite happy. And from that first game, I'm looking forward to see how Semper's whole career develops.
Solar has spotted where Semper is, does not reveal his overlords.
That's always so big, not revealing your overlord. As just pulling back your SV entirely and going to the bottom right, you get to see if your opponent's going for like 3 hatch before pool, even not making a hatchery at all and just going for like link speed off 1 base, which is actually what Solar's, in fact, he is making a hatchery as well. But yeah, that's a very, very good build in Legacy of the Void where players stay on 1 base, they go for the link speed build, and on a map like this where your main base is actually very large, that overlord that we kind of joked about earlier, getting lings in a base that has literally nothing in it, it's incredible. It's critical damage almost instantly.
And a pretty big change up here from Semper. Instead of going for the 2 Reapers, which he did previously, he's decided to go 2 Marines and then a much faster factory.
This is nice. I like that he's mixing it up. He tried out the Reaper thing. You know, if you're playing on the North American server, you can often get a cheap win here and there with very gimmicky builds, but it wasn't that gimmicky. We did see the longevity of the build, but I do like the fact that he's kind of using this time to mix things up against a player that he's a caliber that he's probably never played against before. So this is experimental time.
Good scout from Solo, just overlord outside the main base. Sees the second gas added on at this time, knows that this more than likely is going to be some type of technical build. What it is, he doesn't know yet, and we'll have to find out. But good scouting overall, knows at least something is on its way.
One thing that I'm not that keen on that Semper just did was move out all 4 Marines. Yes, he denied the scout.
Yeah.
But what Solar actually scouted there was, oh, this guy's actually got a lot of Marines out very, very quickly. What are the builds that could possibly follow this up? Very unlikely to be Cloak Banshee now with that refinery going down, but much more likely to be a Hellbat kind of timing. But we do see here that he's completely mixing it up and just still continuing Marine production. And possibly, I mean, it might be Siege Tank drop at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, Semper's play is definitely misleading and hard to read, which is why we see Solar continuously trying to get Zerglings in here.
Trying to figure it out. He may even send that overlord in from the back base. Just to update people at home, with Group B, which we're currently in, Lambo is 2-0 in the group. Likewise is a Laser. Those are the top 2 players currently. If Solo wins this, he likewise would be 2-0. Really shaping up Group B already. But looking at this, we have the Medivac on the way, tank as well, with a bunch of Marines supported. Queen production is continuing. We have a Bane and Nest thrown down early with double evolution chambers. Is Zergling enough to be able to push us back? Surely, in mass numbers, it would be.
Having enough Zerglings to deal with this is definitely doable. And he's even using the tank currently defensively and going for a Marine drop. This is really scary for Semper, not for Solar, purely because this is very easy to hold off, and Solar's already ahead economically. I only see this pushing Solar even further ahead. Like, I'm not really sure what Semper's overall goal here is, because he's going for tanks and Liberators at this point.
Yeah.
There's no stim on the way. There's no... I don't really know what the goal is here. Yes, he's taking drones off mining here, which is a big deal, and it's mainly because this drop is so unexpected in here, even killing a Queen.
Does get a Queen there for his trouble, so he got a drone and a Queen, loses a single Marine for it, and a little bit of obviously lack of mining time there from Solar. Still building up a lot of tanks, Marines, and that Liberator at home. Double upgrades naturally coming in here from Solar, looking to play that Zergling-Baneling game.
You know, having Liberators at this point in time, especially mixed with this Marine drop, that could actually deal some damage, as there are no Ravagers on the field.
Well, it's safe to say he's not dealt enough damage yet. With his opening, with a delayed third base, this is not good enough yet.
No. I'm kind of curious as to why he chose to make a third so late here, when he chose to play so, hey, I'm going to harass you a little bit. This is typically a style that you want your third as fast as possible, then you start harassing. But here it's kind of done in a weird, unorthodox way. And is this the second Liberator on the field? Or the first?
Well, either way, it's going to get into this mineral line here and try and do as much damage. Solo moves out of the defender mode, starts targeting it down slowly but surely. A couple of drones go down here at the same time. Comes the Medivac with 8 Marines left from the initial attack into the mineral line. So now we're starting to see a bit of damage dealt. Not a lot, though. That gets pushed back easily. And the Liberator down to very low hit points and still not a high success rate. Only 5 workers through all this commitment.
I feel this Liberator can be placed in a position, especially on this base, where he won't get hit, but he's choosing to be a bit more cocky with it. And yes, you get more vision, you have the potential to deal more damage to drones, but you can just kind of deny mining while being out of vision, or at least the Queen has to be in range of the Liberator to get hit to deal with it. So I feel that Liberator could have been put to much better use there.
All these different types of attacks, and every single time, deflection and counter from Solar has stopped it. And he's just not getting the damage done. It's a massive 20 worker difference as we see now the third base finally being taken shape.
And look at these upgrades as well. This is huge. And as he's approaching the possibility of being able to go to tier 3 and keeping ahead in upgrades here, and Semper's only getting 1 upgrade at a time here too. So being 1-1 against the 0-0 of a Terran, and it's only going to be 1-0 by the time, like in a few minutes. So yeah, this is looking really bad for Semper right now. Solar's also played a totally different style this game. He did not go for the Roach Ravager. He went for Ling Baneling and just held off everything. And here going for 2-2 when his opponent's only just started the 1-1.
Loving it. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Solar kicking butt in game number 2 here. Double drop though coming in for Semper. Finally needs to dig his heels into the ground to get a bit of damage done to slow Solar down. He's perhaps going to take an Overlord or 2, just 1 for now. He's going to stim forward, gets a couple of these initial Zerglings at the front, but this is an attack which must get pushed away. He loses 7 Marines in that for a single now second Overlord, but that's still not enough damage, unfortunately. Another drop coming here. It's just 4 Marines, though. I think they can scratch the surface of this hatchery, but that's about it.
He's obviously dealing damage with drops, and he's very comfortable with this drop style, but Solar's just holding on to everything very easily, and Muters, they're coming out too, and they're just going to shut this down entirely.
And then when these 2-2 upgrades complete, it's going to be a miserable 1-1 for the Terran. And Solar looking dominant, looking solid, looking confident to get his 2-0 in group stages here. Remember, first place is automatically top 6 in this tournament. Second and third will be top 12, and will continue to fight tomorrow. Bottom 3 in group stages will be eliminated, and Semper will be going down 0-2 if he loses this map against Solar. 0-2 in series overall against other players. And somehow needs to find a bit of magic.
He
bit of Terran
certainly
magic.
does.
Needs a good old Jim Rayner somewhere.
So many Lings being made now too, and the worker count 79. That's pretty much perfect for a Zerg in Legacy of the Void. And also, I love the way that Solar's been expanding. He never took that natural third that most Zergs in this situation would, and it's because he was kind of scared about Semper's build. He just expanded along the bottom of the map away from the Terran, so very smart expansion style by Solar as well.
Well, Semper moves out, and that is a counter set up, ready to go. And that's a lot of Zerglings. They can get absolutely everywhere. It's like sand in your underwear, the Muslim. That's what these Zerglings are going to be.
You can never get it out.
You can never get it out.
Wow, those Banelings, they were trying to grab Semper unaware, but these Lings, these are going to deal damage.
Wall, let's be honest there. That is not the best wall.
I mean, it's not even a wall, but yeah, these Lings, they're going to get everywhere. But Semper actually dealt with that pretty decently. These Muters, though, they're going to be coming in to deal some damage, but they're kind of just avoiding the mineral line. In fact, Semper's holding this off really well, and I think Solar's the guy that's making mistakes here.
Yeah, he dealt with that okay there. Well done from Semper. Didn't lose hardly anything there. Still maintains a good 62 workers, which is obviously ideal. He's got his 2-2 on the way slowly. Unfortunately, +2 armor a little bit slower. And now he moves forward with his forces. I'm a little bit worried at the Baneling count, because a lot of money has just been thrown into that. And a couple of Banelings getting hit by these tanks. That's not a good start there for Solar.
I tell you what, Semper's been making some pretty efficient trades, but when you see that many Banelings in your scan and you know you have to push on this creep at some point or other, things start to feel very helpless.
What
Hopeless
does he do?
even.
Where does he go? He's got a 4th command center down, not giving up hope yet is the Canadian here.
Oh man, these tanks.
Doing a lot of damage, and even then a Widowmine gets about 8 to 10 banelings. Things starting to look better and better for Semper, but the Mutalists get inside the main base, they find the SCV line, the Mutalisk count is good enough to take on turrets. Marines do come back to defend against it.
It seems that all Solar needs is one opportunity to take advantage of you with those mutas, and when you see that many Lings flying across the map too, this is a healthy looking drop. I mean, his army, it could potentially stay off creep here when he's fighting against the Banelings that are inevitably going to come along, but he's dealing a lot of damage here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite a few Banelings, but those shots from that tank, oh,
Get
dealing
quite
a lot of
them.
damage.
He drops the Marines on the other side. Mutalisk cannot chase them. And
But his supply isn't dropping. It's stayed at 200 despite all this damage being done, but I guess the real story here is Semper's supply is slowly growing.
I
So
know, and he's getting closer to those upgrades as well.
Oh, that is a lot of damage being done from those Widowmines.
God, so many good small trades here from Semper. He's got his 4th finished up. He's got a decently sized army on this side of the map. And is the comeback possible here? And it looks like we're seeing Solar posture up aggressively.
I'm always worried when your armies as clumped as this, but
Widowmines!
these are Widowmines, and these are Semper Widowmines as well. And wow, some huge hits blowing up the army of Solar. Where are those Lings at, though? This is a huge swell of Lings here.
Yeah, they're going to get
That wall.
themselves... Well, luckily the Marines
It's
get
almost
back in
more
time.
intimidating not being a wall. It's like, why does he want me to go in here?
And he's going to establish himself this 4th base.
Wow.
He takes down a lot of these Lings. Solar.
You know, Solar's doing a very good job of continuously expanding, and his economy obviously isn't slowing down, but
No.
man, Semper, this reminds me of Dolph Lundgren against Sylvester Stallone. Like, little Sylvester, he's hanging on, man.
He is, and he's doing very well for himself. He's got this up now. He's got 2 upgrades finally completed.
Oh.
But the next stage of the game,
Oh.
as we know, in Terran versus Zerg, is when Zerg gets up to the hive, the Ultras Cavern is down. We're going to see Ultras come into play. 3 upgrades, Adrenal Glands. And Ultralists are pretty beefy in this game. Let's talk about that.
This is when Zerg reach their final form.
Yeah.
What you're seeing now in the production tab is 10 times scarier than what it used to be. Cracklings now attack 40% faster, not just 20%. Nice defense with these Widowmines still, and Semper, actually, if he takes advantage of this timing before Ultras are out, and he's got a 30 supply lead, still dropping, still being aggressive. Didn't quite get the snipe on that Baneling, and the second Baneling does clean it up. But, I mean, he's attacking, he's doing all the right things.
He's got a supply lead for the first time in this game, which is great to see, but as you said, Zerg is powering up.
It's a clock, and now he's seen the Ultralisk Cavern. He knows now he has to do something, and I'm really wondering what his answer to those inevitable Ultras are going to be, because he's supply capped right now. He's still making Marines.
Yeah.
Marines eventually deal 1 damage per hit.
Well, he's decided in the production tab here to the bottom right, throw down double Starport. He's also getting the attack upgrades for his air. Great Widowmine hits again coming out from Semper.
I'd love to see the resources lost, because, Matt, yeah, look at that. That is so efficient by Semper.
Double. That's great to see here. So many Banelings still left over though. One bad fight on creep, and all this hard work just ends instantly. So he's got to be so careful at this point. And he moves forwards.
Man, this is where we're all biting our nails watching.
Yeah.
It's incredible to watch. But, okay, so what's happening here? Trying to trade Banelings. These Widowmine hits haven't yet been amazing, but good splits.
Yeah, and he's dealt really well with this creep, which has really started to recede. So.
Oh, 5 Ultralists on the way, though. That is almost... That's a game-ending sign, almost. This drop not yet doing something, but that left side of the map, very vulnerable.
He's not ready to deal with them yet. There's been no Marauder production. He's not ready with his air switch, which is going into the Fusion Core and Battle Cruisers. He's not ready. He needs to buy himself more time. He hasn't been able to hit before they're ready. He's going to see them now, and I'd imagine from a Terran perspective, you just got to be dropping all over the place and trying to do as much damage as possible until you are finally ready to take them on.
This is where you have to start playing defensive.
Yeah.
You realize, okay, my time is... didn't quite get the Widowmine shots off, but that was nice defense by Solar taking out those Widowmines. But now you have to start playing defensive. Get defense with Widowmines, Liberators, possibly Siege Tanks as well.
Yeah.
Lots of buildings in the way. You need to slow down those Ultralists. You need to funnel them through little gaps where Liberators are ready to fire.
And remember, he really needs to take this 5th as well, too, right? I mean,
He
with the
needs to continue
economy and
expanding.
legacy.
Yeah, he needs to continue expanding because his natural is probably mined out. His 3rd, probably also mined out.
This is going to get pushed back for now. Nice attempt, though, to keep Solar back, and it has indeed kept him back, but He can't really afford to lose this command center, and with killing all the Banelings, he's going to be able to protect this. But surely, shortly, we're going to see Solar look to capitalize on the fact that he has so many Ultralists, and this seems to be the time. Is Semper ready with some form of defense? He has a couple of Liberators out. They will need, obviously, to get into defender mode. 2 of them activated.
Oh, but he's just bypassing it with all the Banelings in here. Is he just going to march for the SCVs? He'd even potentially just blow up the Orbital Command as well here.
Yeah, and there's a couple of units here. Good block from supply depots. Banelings do go down to them. Gets some of the SCVs, and he's going to get all of them by the looks of it.
Oh, that's a lot of SCVs dead right there. And look, the rest of the army.
He's kind of in the middle here. And we get a wraparound from Solar, and the pickup, the evacuation has to be called from Semper, and that is absolutely brutal from Solar.
Oh my, this army cannot be stopped at this point. These Liberators, though, dealing very, very good damage on all the Mutas. The Mutas are all dead, but how do you kill the ground?
Look at it, the 3-4 Ultralists on this left-hand side crush through the Marines. And as Semper, the grind, the hard work was there, but he was not ready in time to deal with, as you said, the final form of Zerg. And now the Ultralists and everything have gone absolutely bonkers.
Oh man, there was nothing to stop the Ultras there. And
the world comes crashing down. 0-2, and Solar picks up a 2-0 there against Semper in a great, almost comeback from Semper. A really, really good turnaround from here. But it is the Korean, it is the tournament favorite, who now in Group B goes up 2-0 in Group B, joining a Laser and Lambo, I think it was, at the top of that group. And a solid performance from him, despite Semper's excellent second half of that map as well.
Yeah, you know, Solar definitely played a good game. Like, he played as good as we expected him to play. Just solid defense. He held everything off. But I have to give credit where credit's due. Like, Semper, he was... I can't imagine Solar walks away from that game thinking, oh yeah, what a scrub. I think he walks away from that game thinking, not bad. You know, not bad.
We're joined on the desk now by, of course, the Team Liquid legend, the one and the only Snoot, who's just right here next to Muslim. He won a championship in China just last week, and also Nathanius. Welcome back to the desk. You didn't really go anywhere, but welcome back.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that series?
Semper's good. You go into a series like this, you're like, okay, it's a 2-0. Anybody that didn't watch these games that looks at the results like, oh, of course he 2-0'd the American guy, but like, watch the games. If you just tuned in and you're like, oh, I just missed that, like, Semper played really well. I actually think when I saw on the production tab that he was going 5 Liberators at a time, I'm like, if he can just hold on for those like next 5 Liberators, and he just has like 1 or 2 of them to distract the Mutas, and you force a fight where the Ultras have to fight in the freedom zones, like, he actually had a chance to clear that army out.
Yeah.
It was a super impressive play out of him, like not what you would expect from a North American player at all.
Snooty, what are your thoughts?
I can't help but feel, though, that there was some missed opportunities. For example, you know, there was a lot of time before the final form of Zerg was actually in place. The chitinous plating was relatively late for a game like this, I would say. Like, the Hive tech, sure, the Hive completed relatively early, but we didn't really see the upgrades come in until later, because the Mutas just pushed Solar's technology. So many Banelings were lost also to the Widow Mines, and that also... Like, everything about the Hive play from Zerg was pushed so far back, and I would have loved to see the Medivac count actually be utilized more. Kind of like we see from a player like Polt, just taking the Medivacs and splitting them into even groups. I think there were maybe 8 Medivacs at some point, and those definitely could have gone to the right. Ceres is a big map, so could easily have dropped a lot on the right-hand side and the left-hand side, but we saw it just with a few Medivacs instead of a lot.
One thing that I would have also liked to see, given that they were so close in positions, as he started pushing across, there was obviously a point where he's like 200 supply against 170.
Yeah.
If he started, and he had tanks in his army already, and Widow Mines. If he started abusing having like tanks on the bottom of like the main base kind of thing, getting into the main base, having Widow Mines securing the tanks, there'd have been no way to really engage that efficiently, especially at that point of the game. But also, Legacy of the Void is so different when you're approaching 200 supply against a Zerg army. You have to... There's no point powering up with Marines to 200 supply. Once you're at like 180, you really have to think about that switch, be it to like Ghosts or Liberators. So leaving some of that supply free, because if you don't have a counter to Ultralists, you're literally just going to get piled over like we saw.
Yeah, unless you try to kill them before they get there.
Yes, yes.
But this was kind of like a middle-of-the-road thing, I feel. Semper was closing in on the max, using only Marines, but the Marines were not being used with the tactics that one would expect, like dropping everywhere, denying bases, trying to really starve Solar out. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a really well-played series by Solar either way. Definitely one of the guys that we're looking to see make it all the way prior to the finals. I'd say most people would pick him as the guy to win it all. Let's hear thoughts from him as he's over in the tournament area with Smix.
That is right, Nathaniel. So congratulations, Solar. It's always great to start off, especially when you're on the mainstream with the win. And obviously, there's so much hype about you right now. Everyone's talking about how, you know, you're the best player in Legacy of the Void. And you're also a two-time DreamHack champion. So there's all these expectations. Do you feel like that's adding a little bit of pressure on you?
Oh, yes, I hope so. I want to win this DreamHack, and I get 3 DreamHack title. And Teja is top. I think he also gets 3 DreamHack title. So
I think Teja actually won 4.
4 really? Okay, then I have one more. Oh, I have one more star. I need one more star. Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Actually, this time it's not a star. Did you see it's a trophy?
Yes, that's better then.
It's better than a star. You like that?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, let's talk about the games then. In the first game, we saw eventually you won with the Ravagers. He couldn't do anything to hold that attack. Game 2, however, was a lot more interesting. It seemed that Semper was actually putting up quite a fight. And I know that prior to this interview going live, you seemed unhappy about how that game went from your side. So talk to us about Game 2.
Game 2? Yeah. Game 2, I did really many mistakes on Game 2 because I didn't spread my bailings and jugglings, and my muta speed was too late, and too late ultra risk also. But anyway, I win. Doesn't matter.
Fair enough, fair enough. And when I spoke to you before, you were saying that you don't like ZvZ right now, and that you feel that it's a coin toss. Your group has 4 Zerg players, including yourself. So when you looked at it, did that make you unhappy at all, or are you still pretty confident because you're Solar?
I hate ZvZ, but I think there are not many good players in my group. So I think I'm gonna advance with first place in my group.
Okay, and my last question is just, you have this great momentum right now, right? You won recently at DreamHack Stockholm, and that was Heart of the Swarm. Of course, this is the first premier tournament for Legacy of the Void, and you're doing amazing here as well with Legacy of the Void. So, what do you attribute all this recent success to? Like, why are you doing so good now?
It's very important because this is first offline tournament with LOPB, also big prize pool, and so many players, but not many Koreans. So it looks very easy, and I will gonna win.
Okay, so you're saying because there's not a lot of Koreans, all of these non-Koreans are just, you can just beat them. You're not worried at all?
I'm not worried about them, but I'm a little bit worried about good Zergs in EU like Nurchio or Bly. I'm a little bit afraid of them, but I think they will not meet me in winners bracket.
All right, well, thank you very much, Solar. It's always a pleasure doing these interviews with you. We are going to cut to a commercial break as always, but when we come back, it will be the partying Korean that everyone loves partying, as well as the Ukrainian Zerg Bly, so stay tuned.